Lena and Jack were out on a late-night adventure. They loved exploring abandoned places, and tonight, they had found an old hotel that had been closed for years. People said it was haunted, but they didn't believe in ghosts. "I bet it's just an old building with broken lights," Jack said, holding Lena's hand as they stepped inside. The lobby was dark and dusty. The air felt heavy, as if no one had breathed there for years. At the end of the hall, they saw an old elevator. Its golden doors were scratched and rusty, but it still worked. Jack pressed the button. The elevator dinged, and the doors slowly opened. "Ready?" he asked with a grin. Lena hesitated. Something about this place felt wrong, but she didn't want to seem scared. "Let's go," she said. They stepped inside, and the doors closed with a creak. Jack pressed the button for the top floor. The elevator started moving, but the lights inside flickered. Suddenly, the elevator jerked. The numbers on the panel started changing on their own, up, down, up again. Then, without warning, it stopped. Lena grabbed Jack's arm. "What's happening?" Jack tried pressing buttons, but nothing worked. The emergency button was dead. Then, the lights went out completely. A cold wind brushed against Lena's neck. But how? They were inside an elevator. There was no wind here. Jack reached for his phone, but before he could turn on the flashlight, a whisper echoed in the darkness. "You shouldn't be here." Lena's breath caught in her throat. "Jack, did you hear that?" Jack's grip on her tightened. "It's just an old building," he said, but his voice wasn't steady anymore. Then, something touched Lena's shoulder. Ice-cold fingers, soft but chilling. She screamed. The elevator suddenly dropped a few feet, shaking violently. Jack pulled her into his arms. "We need to get out of here." Then, the doors slowly creaked open. But instead of a hotel hallway, there was only darkness. And inside that darkness, two red eyes stared back at them. Lena's breath hitched as she clutched Jack's arm. The elevator doors had opened, but there was nothing outside, just complete darkness. Then, out of the black void, two red eyes stared at them. Jack slammed the "close door" button, his hands shaking. The doors creaked but didn't shut. A whisper echoed around them. "Come, closer." Lena felt a shiver crawl up her spine. "Jack, let's get out." Jack pulled out his phone and turned on the flashlight. The beam flickered as if something was draining the battery. Then, the red eyes moved closer. A cold gust of wind rushed into the elevator, though there was no window, no open space. The air smelled old, like damp earth and rotting wood. Suddenly, the elevator shook violently. The lights flickered again. Then, for a split second, Lena saw her. A woman stood in the corner, barely visible in the dim light. Her long black hair covered most of her face, but what they could see was terrifying: pale skin, deep scars, and a twisted, eerie smile. Lena gasped. "Jack, someone's here." Jack turned slowly. The moment his eyes met the figures, the elevator dropped again. Lena screamed, grabbing onto Jack. His arms wrapped around her tightly as if he could protect her from whatever was happening. Then, the elevator stopped. The doors slid open again. But this time, it wasn't darkness. It was a long hallway. The lights flickered above them. The walls were lined with mirrors. Old, dusty mirrors, stretching endlessly. Lena and Jack stepped forward hesitantly, their reflections watching them. Then, Lena's heart nearly stopped. Their reflections weren't right. Jack wasn't holding her anymore, but in the mirrors, their reflections were. And worst of all, there was someone standing behind them in the reflection. Lena's hands turned cold as she stared at the mirrors. Their reflection stood inside the glass, but something was wrong. In real life, Lena and Jack were frozen in fear, but in the mirrors, their reflections were moving on their own. Jack's reflection turned its head toward Lena's reflection, and smiled. Lena gasped. "Jack, we need to get out of here." Jack reached for her hand, but before he could move, the mirror in front of them cracked. A sharp, splintering sound filled the air as the glass shattered outward. A ghostly, pale hand shot out from the broken mirror and grabbed Jack's wrist. Jack yelled, trying to pull away, but the grip was ice-cold and impossibly strong. Lena grabbed his arm. "Jack, hold on." The mirror version of Lena stepped forward, out of the glass. But it wasn't her. It looked like her, but its eyes were completely black, and its lips curled into a cruel smile. The fake Lena walked toward Jack, placing her cold fingers on his face. "She doesn't love you," she whispered. "But I do." Then, before Lena could react, the ghostly version of her pressed her lips against Jack's. Jack stiffened. His eyes turned blank, his body frozen in place. Lena's heart pounded. "Jack, don't listen to her." The ghost smirked, running her fingers through Jack's hair. "He's mine now." Rage and fear crashed over Lena. No, she wasn't going to lose him. With all her strength, she yanked Jack away from the ghost's grasp. The moment their skin broke contact, Jack gasped, blinking as if waking from a nightmare. The ghost's expression twisted into fury. The mirrors around them all shattered at once. A deafening scream echoed through the hallway as the fake Lena's body melted into black mist. Jack grabbed Lena's hand. "Run!" The hallway began to collapse. The walls cracked, the floor crumbled, and a deep, dark void stretched beneath them. Lena and Jack sprinted toward the elevator, just as the floor beneath them vanished. They jumped. As soon as they landed inside, the elevator doors slammed shut, and the whole thing started falling. Lena screamed, holding on to Jack as they plunged into darkness. Lena clung to Jack as the elevator plummeted downward. Wind roared around them, but there was no air inside the small space. It felt like they were falling into nothingness. Then, suddenly, the elevator stopped. Silence. Lena's body trembled. Jack held her close, his breathing heavy. "Are we dead?" he whispered. A soft laugh echoed in the air. Slowly, Lena turned. She was there. The ghostly woman stood in the elevator with them, her pale face twisted in an eerie smile. Her long black hair hung over her shoulders, and her hollow eyes stared at them with something between hatred and sorrow. "You can't leave," she whispered. "You were just like me." Jack's grip tightened around Lena. "Who are you?" The ghost's smile widened. "I was once in love, like you." The air around them shifted. Suddenly, the walls of the elevator flickered, revealing flashes of the past. Lena and Jack saw a beautiful woman standing inside the same elevator years ago. She was holding hands with a man, whispering softly to him. Then, another woman appeared. The man turned toward her and kissed her. The first woman's expression changed from love to pure horror. She screamed as the elevator shook violently. The man tried to stop her, but she pushed him away, and then the doors opened. Lena gasped. The woman fell, straight down into the darkness. The vision disappeared, and they were back inside the elevator. The ghost's eyes filled with rage. "He betrayed me," she whispered. "He kissed someone else, just like you." Lena's blood ran cold. That's why she was haunting them. The ghost stepped closer, reaching for Lena's wrist. "You should suffer like I did," she whispered. Jack pulled Lena behind him. "No, you don't have to do this." But the ghost's fingers brushed Lena's skin. It felt like ice. The elevator shook violently. Then, without warning, it dropped again. The ghost's voice whispered in their ears. "You can't escape me." Lena and Jack screamed as they fell into the endless dark. Lena's scream echoed as the elevator plunged into darkness. Jack held her tightly, his heart pounding. The air around them felt heavy, suffocating, as if the walls were closing in. Then, it stopped. Everything went completely silent. Lena slowly opened her eyes. She was still in Jack's arms, her body shaking. The elevator doors were slightly open, revealing nothing but endless blackness. And then, she appeared. The ghostly woman stood before them, her white dress stained with something dark. Her hollow eyes stared at Lena. "You can't leave," she whispered. "Love is a lie. It will always betray you." Jack stepped forward, shielding Lena. "No, what happened to you was cruel, but love is real." He grabbed Lena's hand. "I love her, and I won't let you take her away." The ghost's lips trembled. Her eyes flickered with something, pain. Lena took a deep breath and stepped closer. "You don't have to do this. Holding on to this pain won't change the past." Tears filled the ghost's eyes. Her body flickered, her form becoming less solid. I just wanted to be loved," she whispered. Lena felt her heart ache for her. "You were. And you still can be, just in a different way. You don't have to hurt anyone else." The ghost hesitated. Then, slowly, she looked down at her hands. They were fading. A sad smile appeared on her lips. "You're lucky," she whispered. "I hope you never lose it." With one final look, she vanished. The elevator doors slammed shut. The entire space shook, and for a moment, Lena thought they would crash. But then, ding. The elevator stopped. The doors slid open. Lena and Jack tumbled out onto the cold floor. They gasped, realizing they were back in the hotel lobby. The abandoned building was silent, as if nothing had ever happened. Jack looked at Lena. "Are we alive?" Lena let out a shaky laugh. "I think so." Jack pulled her into his arms. "Let's never do this again." Lena smiled, but as they turned to leave, she heard a whisper. "Goodbye." She turned back. The elevator doors were closing slowly. And just before they shut completely, for a split second, she saw the ghost smiling at her. Then, silence.